in fashion, through styling, I've got a chance to work with an eclectic array of people, from artists like Justin Bieber and Travis Scott and Chris Brown. I've had a chance to get my hats and products on like Celine Dion and Beyoncé and Kelly Rowland, Floyd Mayweather, Joe Jonas. The list goes on, and it's been great. But I feel like there's just a lot more greatness to come. I was born in Nigeria, and I moved to the States when I was like 3 years old. When I first moved, I lived in LA for about 10 years, 12 years, and then I moved to Houston, where I went to like high school, and then I moved to New York for college before coming back to LA, where I'm at now. Texas was very restricting for me, moving from a place like Los Angeles, where again it's more liberal, where people are more free when it comes to wardrobe and colors and lifestyle. Texas was like, a lot of things there were very old school and conservative. Like, it's simply me wearing my Hawaiian shirts the first day of school. Like, people were staring like I was crazy. When I wore like certain kind of jeans, like skater jeans or Jinko jeans, people thought I was weird, but I used that to my advantage. At an early age, I had a choice to either let being different be a disadvantage or make it be an advantage. I had to decide whether I was going to let that be, stop me or put me down or let that motivate me. And I think, I chose for it to motivate me, and I let that be like my uniqueness, and my leverage was the fact I dressed different, I spoke different, and I thought different. And that was the start of something for me. I realized I was different when I realized that I was more spiritually in tune than other people. When I realized that I spoke to God in a certain way that other people didn't. I'm blessed in a way that I feel like I discovered my spirituality at an early age. So I always, had a certain level of confidence, a certain level of assurity and assurance that came from this, like, me being confident, like, yo, God is my best friend. And, I have somebody there with me all the time. So I think that was really when I discovered, like, okay, a lot of people don't think like this or have that connection. So I am a little different. I always kept my African culture, at hand reach, no matter where I was at, whether it was like with my jobs or with my ideas and treatments. I think it was really my parents. My parents really kept Nigeria and Africa in the forefront of our thoughts, our motivation, just simply going back every December and reconnecting with our family there, and, letting us know that we had a lot more to life than what's here, letting us know that, our actual home and our actual place for us is in Africa. That mindset and mentality was instilled at a very early age. So, when I started working, I still had that in mind. Like, okay, cool. Like, I'm working here, I'm working with these celebrities, and I'm building this name for myself. But at the end of the day, I need to figure out how to use this to empower my people. And, that's kind of where I'm at now. I feel like from an early age, I was always allowed to express myself. I was always allowed to try different things. And, when I was 10, my parents allowed me to just get into acting. I was like, I want to be an actor. And I tried that out, got into it, did some commercials. And, I was always just pushing myself. And, I never had the idea or thought that things were impossible. Even when we were living in Inglewood and my parents didn't have, enough money to put me in like a lot of the programs, but I still didn't allow that to hold me back. I was like, it's possible. Like, we can still do things, just being able to just express myself and never containing my ideas and thoughts. I feel like, that's where the ideas and creativity just kind of started exploding and going from. And my parents just like are also creative too. My dad always drew. My mom was always like into fashion and clothing and style. So it was just an organic thing in the family. I moved to New York at 17. So I was out there just wild and nuts, like wearing whatever I wanted to wear, throwing up like all these fabrics and cutting things, making my own custom clothes. Me and my friends had this like weird clique of like young, like influential style kids at the time, you know, and that was pretty much like the start of everything, you know. I was able to start my own clothing line in 2009. I launched a brand called Aston Mosier, and I had my first New York Fashion Week show out there, and the response, feedback was amazing. From that fashion show, I got a chance to start working with celebrities, you know, when different artists at the time, like Omarion or Khalees or, you know, Diggy Simmons would hit me up for my clothes. I would like give them advice like, yo, you can wear this, but I would advise you to wear this with these kind of pants and this kind of jacket. And that eventually became, you know, me styling. And, you know, from, in New York, it was great. I was doing a lot of editorials and, working in the high fashion editorial world, like working with Tiana Taylor, Diddy, Dirty Money, his group. And after about 2 years of working in fashion and styling, I moved to Paris for about a year. And in Paris is where I really got a chance to refine and redefine my aesthetic. You know, I cleaned everything up and really got a chance to connect and make those high fashion contacts and connections I needed to do to take my career to the next level. Like when I first came here, I swore it was going to be easy, you know, coming with like my New York mentality, with my hustle mentality, the fact that I did this and that. I had a strong resume. You know, I came with the mentality that LA was going to be smooth and simple, and I was going to come and like manipulate the system and all these things, but it was far from that. You know, I learned real quick that the way they operate out here, the way they think and the way they move is so different. You know, I learned that I had to really understand who I was and what my message was, what my real passion and ability was before I can go into any room and really make any kind of change. You know, in New York, you can work very hard and, you know, have a strong resume and work your way into any position and work your way up into any ladder based on your work ethic and your talent and that kind of stuff. But in LA, it takes a lot more than work ethic. You know, you have to have a good personality. You gotta have a good energy. You have to be, someone that people want to have around, you know, like at the end of the day, like I feel like people hire you here based on more of a longevity. You know, like I learned that your energy means so much more than your status. You know, the way you treat people, the way you carry yourself means a lot more than how much you have. And that's what takes you the furthest. So once I understood that, you know, things just started moving great. And, you know, I got a real good grasp of this city and I love LA now. I've always loved LA, really. I feel like there's a real difference between being a creative and being a real true artist. You know, anybody can be creative. Anybody can have a creative moment and use creativity as a way of expressing. But if you're really trying to become a real artist or be taken seriously as a real artist or a creator, you have to invest in it. You know, you have to invest money into your art, invest money into your passion, and invest money into your dreams. You know, obviously, I'm not recommending people to go broke or go homeless, you know, to fund your dreams, but there has to be a certain compromise. You know that when you're working, you got to save money, put money aside to go out and buy supplies, go out and, you know, do photo shoots, go out and collaborate with other people, because like those little moments and those investments you make at the early stages are what really set you apart and what really pay off in the long run. My name is Ugo Mozie. I'm a creative manager and designer, and I am MyComeUp.